Hey everyone, Michael here again, and today's video is going to be about something a little different. Instead of video games, it's going to be about airsoft guns, and I'm going to talk about what type of airsoft guns there are, what type of ammunition there is, and how it loads, some different accessories, and at the end I'm going to talk about what type of gun you should get, or I think you should get, if you're planning on getting one. So let's start with types of guns, and my favorite type would be this one here, the spring action gun, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of it. The pro is that it excels in accuracy and power, and it also handles weather and other conditions extremely well. They're very durable, and the magazine size is generally pretty large. The only con is that since it's a spring action, every time you fire you have to manually reload it by pushing this down all the way every single time you fire. So onto the next type, which is battery powered, also known as automatic. And the only pro is that it can fire rapidly, which would make sense since it's an automatic. All the cons are basically the exact opposite of the pros for the spring action. It's weak, it's inaccurate. I mean, the magazine size can be pretty big, but besides that and being automatic, there's really no cons. I wouldn't get one of these. The only reason I have it is because I got it as a gift a while ago, but I wouldn't get an automatic battery powered one. Not to mention, since it's battery powered, you do have to recharge it. This spring powered, you don't have to recharge, so it's ready to play when you want to play. But this, you have to recharge it, and generally it takes a long time. Not to mention you have to worry about overheating your battery and burning it up if you leave it on the charger too long. And the last type would be air powered, which would be shotguns normally, and that would be like with the pump action. It just gets shot out with a giant puff of air, and air only, no spring and no battery used to create it, just the big pumping action. And basically it has the same power as a spring action, but it has the same accuracy as a automatic battery powered. So basically that's why it's meant for shotguns really only, because shotguns want to be powerful, but they're also meant for close range. So unless you're doing a lot of close range stuff, don't really get a shotgun. I mean, they're fun, but like I said, unless you're doing close range, don't get a shotgun. The next thing I'm going to talk about is ammo type, which all ammo type is the same. It's just these BBs. It's just some are different sizes. The most common size is 6mm, which is the size that you should get. Don't buy a gun that doesn't run on 6mm. It's just harder to find, and it's just not very fun because then you kind of like exchange ammo and stuff like that, and it makes it harder to pick up and reuse. So just get 6mm. It's a lot cheaper and it's a lot easier to find, so just get 6mm. But they reload in lots of different ways. Like my automatic here, it's gravity fed, so you put your BBs in this scope looking thing, and as you might be able to see, they feed down into the gun. Kind of hard to see, but the BBs feed down into the gun, into the chamber, using the force of gravity, and then that's how they're shot out. This is hard to find for a good reason, because it's not very reliable. I mean, it's not very good. The most common type is clip, and how that works is there's a spring in the bottom of it, so it pushes up your BBs into the chamber where they're shot out. This is really efficient, lasts a while, and it just makes for easy reloading and firing. The last type of reloading, which is really new, it's for shotguns only. Basically what they did is they took some, like shotgun shells, like empty shotgun shells. So what you can do is you can load your BBs into the empty shells and then put them into the tube part of the shotgun. So every time you pump, it puts a new shell in, and then you can shoot that, and then it fires all the BBs out. And the shells are reusable, so it'll probably give you like 6 shells, and then you can just keep reloading those and reloading those. And those would be really fun, but they're really expensive, and they would take a decently long time to reload. So, I mean, unless you have a lot of money, then I wouldn't look into that. I would just try to get a gun with a clip. Next would be accessories. And this gun really doesn't have any accessories since it's just one big whole piece. But this one right here does. It has a removable clip, or removable grip, and it just twists right there at the bottom, and it can slide right off the gun. So, removable grip. It also has an adjustable and removable stock, so the stock can slide back and forth for different lengths, depends on how long you like it. And there's also a button right here, so when you push that, and you can just push the stock right off. So the gun then becomes like extremely small and more close quarters oriented. There's other types of accessories. There's different scopes. There's flashlights. There's laser sights. Laser pointers. All that sort of stuff. Basically, just whatever you want to spend your money on, you can get it. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's also other types of grenades you can get, which when they explode, they just shoot out, instead of shooting out shrapnel, they just shoot out a bunch of little BBs, which are pretty cool. Those are expensive and hard to find though. And to finish up, you can probably already guess, but for the type of gun I would recommend you to get would be spring action. It's reliable, powerful, all the good stuff you'd want, besides the fact that you have to reload it like that every single time. But that's not a big deal. So get a spring action. They generally will cost you about $50. This one was $40 because I got it on sale. But $50-$60 is a reasonable price for something like this. Unless you really can find a good automatic. I mean, don't get an automatic. Like, the only good types of automatics cost like $100 or more, and I really don't want to spend that on an airsoft gun. So unless you have a lot of money and want to spend it on an automatic, don't get an automatic. Once again, shotguns are good. It's really just your preference. But like I said, I would get a spring action.